Now it's time for Toker Talk Radio, the voice of the marijuana nation.
What are you people? On dope?
Where you can toke.
I inhale frequently.
Or you can talk.
I experimented with marijuana and didn't inhale.
Or you can toke and talk.
10 federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
While we talk about toke on Toker Talk Radio.
So, by the way, when it comes to pot, you know, if you're 40 years old, you live in a log cabin in Oregon, you got 12 giant pot plants in your backyard, have a ball.
Live from beautiful Portland, Oregon at Rolla J Studios.
Hey, this is great. Just not cannabis.
Plus your calls live at 971-533-7111.
They're walking on their pants with their cap on backwards, listening to Enema Man and Snoopy Poop Dog.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
Holland, is it real? Don't tease me.
We're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana, and the next thing you know, they got 10 years.
And now, here's your host, the guru of ganja graphics, the sultan of sativa statistics, and the worst nightmare of a reefer mad prohibitionist. A polite, perspicacious, productive pothead with a propensity for PowerPoint. Radical Russ Belville.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's 4:02 in the Pacific Time Zone, time for Toker Talk Radio. We're hanging out with Barrett and Wyatt. They're back from the United Campaign Workers. Also got Left Wing Larry, who's now on Twitter, folks. You got to follow Left Wing Larry on Twitter, at Left Wing Larry. He says, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm on it. So, Larry brought down some of our homegrown. What are we calling this? Pickle relish? It does kind of smell like pickle relish. It's weird.
Definitely got a pickle relish smell.
Let's check that out on Budcam. See how we're looking. How pickle relish looks in the magnify. Let's see. Ooh, pretty.
Let me see.
Budcam. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Very nice. We got some nice trikes on that little girl.
Oh, that's real pretty.
Yeah, get the focus on that a little better. There we go. It's a beautiful thing being here in the state of Oregon. And you guys native Oregonians?
No. The two of us, as well as the majority of canvassers with CRRH, are recent Oregon transplants.
Where are you from?
I'm from Tampa.
Tampa, Florida. I'm headed to Florida. He's from Florida.
Up from Homosassa.
Oh! Nature Coast.
And you?
I'm from Virginia originally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And when did you come out to Oregon?
I actually got out here right at the beginning of the year, and pretty much started working at CRRH right after that.
And so that's what motivated you to come to Oregon, was to work on legalization?
Well, the prospect certainly didn't hurt.
It certainly added the bonus. How about you coming from Tampa? I mean, I can understand a million reasons to want to leave Florida, but give me a few.
Suburban sprawl, and just wanted to check out the Portland scene.
Yeah.
I had come for the 2010 Normal Conference.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I was at that conference working for Normal at the time.
UCF delegation.
Oh, well, shit. That makes total sense. University of Central Florida in Orlando, these kids, and I can say kids because I'm old now, these kids have pioneered getting your college to send you to a Normal conference. That's the damnedest thing.
They get about $10,000 a year in student government funding for conference. And
so, like, every year we have now we're not having national conferences. I keep saying we, like I'm part of Normal. I'm not anymore. But Normal's not having national conferences lately. They've been having all these regional conferences, which are pretty cool. I just went to one in Texas. And but up until, let's see, I've got a few of the posters up there. There's the Portland one from 2010, and then there's a 2011 I think we did in Denver and so forth. But yeah, every year that we would do a conference, there'd be like 20 college students with their UCF. Shit, if I'd have known it was UCF, I'd have pulled out my UCF shirt. I've got one of them. Well, that's awesome, man. Glad to hear it. All right, so now we're hanging out and not collecting signatures. So what's in your plans now?
Well, we want to see how far the union can go. We've had a whole lot of support from other petitioners, and from other canvassing groups who do feel that it's reasonable for somebody to know exactly what they're being employed to do.
Yeah.
So
also, it's seasonal labor, and if the work is seasonal, it's got to pay more than the living wage because that job will be over.
True. And, I haven't done any, I've gathered signatures as a volunteer before for various campaigns, but I've never been paid to do it. What are the going rates when you pay signature gatherers?
Depending on the canvas office, usually anywhere from 10 to 14 is the general rate.
An hour.
But Oregon has a really, really flawed initiative system. Basically, canvas offices aren't allowed to say that you are getting fired because you didn't get enough signatures.
Right.
So they have to go way out of their way to come up with some sort of reason for why you're getting fired that doesn't have anything to do with your number of signatures.
Right. Oregon, we've got it had been a fairly liberal law as far as doing initiatives. And then a guy named Bill Sizemore, a Republican operative, started taking advantage of that and putting forth all of these, initiatives with a lot of outside money, a lot of out-of-state money, and Oregonians kind of went, well, wait a minute, maybe we should tighten this up a little bit. And one of the problems they had was this idea of paying per signature, which I don't know why that's a problem. I don't know why they decided that. Do you know why? What their reasoning is for that?
I can't speak to the reasoning in Oregon. I know in California they pay per signature, and I've heard a lot of complaints that this makes canvassers kind of more aggressive, like they feel like they're kind of entitled to it or something, is how it's been described to me by somebody from California, or that they'll kind of hassle you until you give them a signature kind of deal. But I don't really see that as being kind of. It's a solution. It's a problem without easy solutions.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
A message from former President George W. Bush to remind the American people of our responsibility in our nation's war on certain American citizens using non-pharmaceutical, non-alcoholic, tobacco-free drugs.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
That's right, America, use less drugs. Put down the Prozac, the Vioxx, and the Levitra, and turn to the herb. Use less drugs. Our national policy is no longer just say no, it's now just slow down.
You get me too high. I overanalyze. If you've ever been too high, then you can sympathize. You get me too high. And I start to fly if I said some silly thing, and that's the reason why.
420 Radio, fighting prohibition since 2012. The Marijuana Business Association, or MJBA, are proud sponsors of the Russ Belville Show. It is the mission of the MJBA to establish integrity and legitimacy, create common market standards, provide market intelligence, and develop best ethical business practices for participants in the emerging legal marijuana industry, including commercial hemp, medical marijuana, and recreational marijuana for adults. Learn more about the Marijuana Business Association and visit mjba.net to join today. That's mjba.net. The new Viper Hour every Monday at 5 and 8 Pacific on 420radio.org. The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, treat law enforcement with respect and stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak with my attorney. Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at omarfigueroa.com.
Feeling the funk with the perks in the blunt, 100% cannabis, medical puffs. It's the granddaddy perks, break it down and stuff in the bay. We pack day and don't crumble it up. Feeling the blunt with the perks in the blunt, 100% cannabis, medical puffs. It's the granddaddy perks, break it down and stuff in the bay. We pack day and don't crumble it up. This hobby's my schoolwork, homie, give me my assignment. And sometimes that can lead to consolidatory confinement. My mental's open up and then my pen starts writing. With the perks and the blunts, the aromas are at their finest. Granddaddy, I wouldn't throw them all, you think I'm lying. Buds look like gorillas, make it fit so tight.
All right, great music there from Ignite with Perps in a Blunt. You listen to Toker Talk Radio, 10 after the hour here. Hanging out with Barrett and Wyatt from United Campaign Workers. We got our phone lines open at 971-533-7111. If you got any questions for these young men, you can go ahead and dial up, ask away. Now, I was looking in the chat room, guys, and one of the folks in the chat room points out that, or asserts that paying signature gatherers by signature leads to less reliable signature counts, because the signature gatherer isn't motivated to keep someone off signing if they've already signed it before. I don't know.
Well, the problem with that reasoning is that you're still getting paid by the signature in today's signature gathering system. It's just there's a whole variety of legal fictions.
Like wink, wink, nudge, nudge that we're doing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tons,
So
we don't have quotas, we have goals.
You have goals.
Yeah.
I see.
And we have bonuses, but they're not based on the number of signatures gathered.
Gotcha.
Well, some places they are because the bonus it's another legal fiction. But I don't object to the concept inherently, but I do think that there's a lot you have to work around it and make sure it's going right.
Well, here's my objection with them not allowing pay per signature gathering, is that we most recently have had a couple of Supreme Court decisions, Citizens United and McCutcheon versus FEC. And both of these decisions, the Supreme Court has basically said, hey, money is speech, and we can't be restricting people, rich folks, if they want to spend money. If the Kochs want to buy, a whole bunch of votes or whatever, we can't stop that. But we're supposed to have a problem with individuals working in a citizen initiative petition that might be paid by the signature. So what? It's okay to pay for votes and stuff when it's rich folks in Congress, but not when it's the people? It makes no sense to me. Let's go to our phone lines. We got a call coming in from right here in Oregon, 503 area code. You're on the air with Toker Talk Radio.
Yeah, hi, Radical Russ. This is an old friend of yours, Ray Christl.
Hey, Ray.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Nice to hear you.
Pastor Ray.
Yeah.
What's up,
Good
Ray?
to hear from you.
Yeah, Barrett and Wyatt. Hey, brothers. How you been?
Good. How are you, Ray?
Well, I'm actually doing quite well. I've gained a lot of weight, and I've got some piss and vinegar back in me, so I'm following up some luck with you on that. And, you didn't wait a few more days when Paul came over to the house to share with me putting $250,000 into the account so you guys could have made really big money at the end, hopefully getting enough signatures. And you two were very good at getting signatures, both Hyatt and Barrett were, but a lot of your cohorts were being kept on the budget and kept on the job, even though they were getting miserable amounts of numbers and would have been fired from any other reputable, like Democracy Resources, that's handling I-53. You know that.
Well, we feel that a lot of those low signature counts were due to a lack of turf autonomy. We suggested to management repeatedly that we do some remote organizing, and that just didn't happen. I think these people's talents could have been placed better than every day on the bus malls grinding out a dozen or 2 dozen signatures.
Yeah, but you were still getting paid, and yeah, the checks, you had one bounce check or so. There's a lot of history involved, and this is why you're in the show with Russ today, because he kind of wants to dump on Paul a bit, because they're at odds in the fractious nature, and you know this from your conversations with me during the Friday night parties.
I know there's some
divisions. All you kids came on Friday and you whooped it up, and then one of your first demands was free pot, which is an absurdity, and it made you look ridiculous in the early articles in the newspapers.
That was not. It just essentially it was an extension of the health care for workers demand. It's the fact that we're asking for everybody's health care was one of our demands, and that was essentially just an extension of that. There were only one striker is actually a medical marijuana patient. So this was by no means about free pot. That was merely a part of the idea that if you work for someone, then you should have some kind of health care. And that was just a demand that we think is fair, regardless of who you're working for.
Well, okay, so, your union demands, as a person who was the number one signature gatherer for both 21 and 22 when they were working in different camps in 2012, I went all around the state and I was the top signature gatherer, and I think Russ knows that, in 2012 before I became ill. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, they had the money, fortunately, I was being paid till the end. And we all had to wait for months, and some people sued Paul. So you knew coming in that there was some problem with maybe the checks not being there, but you were being held along for a long time. And, the fact that you complained about the management, the 4 people in management or so, who are your brothers, and they're in the office, and they're working in the office, and then the complaints came to me on the phone. Well, they're in the office, and they're smoking pot all day, and I want to be in the office, and I don't want to be out here in the field actually having to do the work when they're not doing the work. Well, that's just the nature of people being administrators and you being canvassers. And, you're comporting yourself well on the show, Hyatt. You're well-spoken. Barrett, you guys are all brilliant young people. That was the strategy they went with this time. And I just wish you would have given it a little bit more time, and Paul had the money at the end, and everybody would have went paid, and actually you ended up saving the man quite a bit of money, ironically.
So Ray, I got to jump in on this with a couple of concerns. I mean, how long are people supposed to expect their checks to bounce and not get paid before the money fairy comes in and finally deposits for them?
In this particular case, Russ, from what I understand, I wasn't in the office every day. They know me to come and deal with them on Friday before the party, that, they're invited to our Friday night party for medical patients after the show of Cannabis Common Sense. And if you see me on that show a couple months ago, Russ, you see me near death, okay? And then the cancer treatment's working for me, and I have my voice back, and so that's why I was able to call you today.
Okay.
And voice my opinion on your wonderful show, even though we've had our disagreements, as you know.
I know.
But
so how long?
But when I heard you come and do a nice show on Roger Christie, I said, well, I got to go back and go back to Russ, because as I would love Brian the Red, who told me last night on Facebook that he would like to come back and work with you. But there should be some amends made there, and that should be talked about. I want to get a thing going nationally as a remembrance day for people that have fallen. Now that I'm going to fall,
I'm all for that. But let's get back to the subject. How long should these guys have waited for their checks to bounce and for not getting paid before?
Well, in this case, if you ask them, there was a 1-week period where they did get compensated for, and they did get their checks back. And then the money was there literally 2 days before they struck, where Paul came over and showed me the going in. And if I would have been there when they were doing this, I would have said, look, money's in the bank now. The check isn't going to bounce anymore. You're going to get paid the $15 an hour. They're giving you a raise. They're going to give you bonuses now.
Here's my problem with that, Ray. Here's my problem with that, Ray. I've been a working person since the age of 16. I'm 46 years old now. In 30 years, I've never had a paycheck bounce. Never. The general understanding of the employer-employee relationship is the number one bill that gets paid by the employer is payroll. And this is not the first time Paul Stanford has bounced paychecks to employees. I was married to one, and another one was my brother. And when those paychecks bounce, people who are counting on that money have to go through all sorts of things, have to pay late fees on the bills they were supposed to pay, and they get put out. How long is Paul Stanford supposed to be given a free pass to get away with these kind of shenanigans without someone calling him on it? I mean, you're trying to paint this as if I'm going after him for no good reason because I have a personal grudge. My personal grudge is a little tiny one compared to the grudges all over this community that Paul Stanford has laid in his wake in his ego for refusing to understand he is not the person to legalize marijuana. All right. Well,
you want me to respond?
You may respond. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. You have a very good point, of course.
Oh, hold on. We do have to take our break for 20 after. If you want to stay on the line, we can continue this. But
thanks. We will continue after the break.
Hold on just a second. Yeah, 20 after coming up. And, we are union strong here at 420 Radio, and our union demands that we have a safety meeting at 420. So coming up here, we'll take our little safety meeting. We got Wyatt and Barrett with us. We got Ray Christl on the line. And enjoy, folks. Enjoy. Because now it's time. It's 420 in the Pacific time zone. Light them if you got them. We'll be right back after these messages.
.420 Radio, fighting prohibition since 2012. Adam Hand of Handmade Apparel produces quality custom designs for t-shirts, hats, and other apparel. Handmade Apparel is the official design shop for 420 Radio among many clients who rely on Adam Hand for everything from short-run custom projects to full-run clothing lines. Visit handmadeapparel.biz to browse the selection of handmade gear or to get a personal quote for your own designs. Handmade Apparel, a proud supporter of 420.
If you're an adult who enjoys a good beer, there's a similar product you might want to know about. One without all the calories and serious health problems. Less toxic so it doesn't cause hangovers or overdose deaths, and it's not linked to violence or reckless behavior. Marijuana. Less harmful than alcohol, and time to treat it that way. For more information, visit marijuanaissafer.org.
Growing plants indoors can be a rewarding hobby, but electricity bills can go through the roof. Then you have to cool down all those big hot lights. It can drive a grower insane. With Lush LED lighting, you can solve many of these issues and double your rewards. Matt and his scientists have developed the perfect light for flowering plants with far less cost and heat. And the results? Very effective. Check out LushLEDlighting.com right now and tell them Radical Russ sent you.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Groovin' Thursday, featuring rap, hip-hop, soul, and funk music. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tune.
All right, welcome back, folks. Time for our Daily Toker Tunes with Chuck Diesel, who isn't calling in today, but we still have a song upload from him, so we're going to just get right to that so we can get back to our conversation. But today's song is by Schoolboy Q, and the tune is entitled There He Goes. So let's just switch over to the music, and we'll be back with Ray and Barrett and Wyatt in a moment. Last minute, I may have gotten my man on the air. Let me see if I can give it a stop here. Is that Chuck Diesel on the line?
Sure is. How's it going, Russ?
Sorry, Chuck, didn't mean to jump the gun on you. I wasn't sure you were going to call in. Why don't you just give us a quick intro here on this tune, and we'll get back to it.
Cool. Yeah, I heard the combo going. So this is Schoolboy Q. Kind of become famous in Portland for breaking the Christl ballroom, and this is a great track from him called There You Go. Just a feel-good song on a beautiful day in Portland.
All right. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
Yeah. Ain't got no jury on, still I'm shining hard. Ain't got no bodyguard, walking solo through the mall. Bitches and the hoes know they see me, they like, there he go. They be like, there he go. Schoolboy, there he go. Chiefin' like a motherfucking Seminole. Here we go. Our probation probably go to Mexico. Furthermore, can't find this in the store. This shit ain't for the low. Got my daughter swaggin' like her motherfucking daddy though. The patio, what a motherfucking view. Nappy chin heads, bitch, I'm motherfucking killed. Motherfucker, yeah, fucking is my favorite word. Reason why I'm fucking her. She swallow my dick in balls, whatever occurred. I love that kitty cat, ass fat, throw it back, I can't believe you wiping that. Deep throat, 7 or 11, she's a double go. My pistol drawn, her boyfriend got me paranoid. Nigga try sneaking up on me and I'm making noise. But what I felt to understand, I'm the motherfucking man. Ran into him, he's a fan. Goddamn, I'm shining hard. check the game. Hey, Garcia, Vegas, yeah, that bitch be burning slow. Quit before, now the blunts go back around like merry-go. For show, ain't no need for niggas out here frontin' dough. Met the foe, how I come up with it, I don't fucking know. Yo, acting like that TDE don't run LA. Coldplay business, tosses, Pac, that Fro, and Dr. Dre. Word to Dr. Dre, detox is like a mix away. Go ahead and let the grown-ups work and go somewhere and play. Yeah, worldwide Holocaust, cause we murder shit. Without a gun or knife, it's just a fucking hit. Pussy drips, raining in her cervix, I'm a fucking pimp. Sagging low, track a nigga, bitch, just like pistachio. Pistachio. They be like, there he go. Nobody go. They be like, there he go. Then you crawl. They be like, there he go. They be like, there he go. Go, boy, there he go. Power be. They be like, there he go. 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 Yeah. Two.
.420 Radio, your ticket to the Boston Freedom Rally. You know Herb Thrasher from the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, we've got Frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs, we've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com. And follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter. Greenstream Radio, replaying Tuesdays at 11 Pacific on 420radio.org. When you are starting up a medical cannabis business, you want a fired-up lawyer who understands the needs of cannabis consumers. The law office of Lauren Vasquez is your fired-up lawyer for the cannabis industry. Visit her website, fireduplawyer.com, or call 1-855-MMJ-LAWS for more information. That's 855-665-5297 for Lauren Vasquez, your fired-up lawyer, or email fireduplawyer@gmail.com.
Oh man, yeah, they talk, but I can't hear what they say, 'cause I'm flying. Yeah, Sean Khalifa, man, yeah, they talk, but
That's Wiz Khalifa with Sky High. Welcome back to Toker Talk Radio. Radical Russ hanging out here with Wyatt and Barrett from United Campaign Workers. And on the phone, we've got Ray Christl, who's on the line. We're all talking about this situation here in Oregon with the Campaign for the Restoration and Regulation of Hemp, their signature gatherers, and all sorts of things. So let's welcome Ray back onto the show, if you're still there. Ray?
Yes, thank you so much, Radical Russ.
Go right ahead, man.
Well, I just, I want to say to Wyatt and Barrett that I love you guys, and I loved everybody in the office. And there were people that were signature gatherers that did not strike and that did not agree with you and did not think it was egregious enough to go on strike. And they felt that you were being a little bit quick on the gun on this. And, there is a lot of resentment of the history with Paul, and there's no getting around that. And that was discussed with you. When you talked with me privately, I told you you were in the midst of something that had a lot of history, and that he was going with young, beautiful young people that had all the virtues and principles that we want in our movement for that reason, that people didn't have a big history to know about what had happened, unfortunately, with Paul, to get it on the ballot in 2012. But gosh darn, he almost pulled it off and did it with so little money. So my hat's always off to him because he's been so wonderful to me personally. But if I look at the thing very objectively and not subjectively, as I'm saying this to Russ, with those two very meaningful words and truth, I can agree with some of your grievances, and you've been very professional on the radio today, Wyatt, and Barrett, and and Paul does need to be pulled off on this, and he can't really do this anymore. The money has to be there. Just like in California, when I talked to Michael Jolson, I used to travel with Jack Hare, who runs that. It seems to be a silly initiative. Every 2 years. They run a cannabis initiative under the guise of Jack Hare, and it's a volunteer mostly, and they just get a lot of people's hopes up and dashed because they can never make it because they don't have the money.
Right.
So that Radical Russ says, get the money before you talk to me now. It's an axiom now. It's not a theory anymore. It's an axiom of changing the laws. So I would encourage Paul never to do it again without the money beforehand. And his history did come to bite him on this, but I don't think he was anywhere near guilty of this kind of extreme action on their part. And it probably, in the end, it's all going to work out for New Approach, and hopefully 53 is much better than the original 35 was, where there was a lot of felonies in there. I think they've changed that a little bit, Russ, and you can speak to that at some other point.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. And, it's not as if, the point here would be to say don't be involved with trying to legalize. What I was confused about was, given 2012, where there was so little money and national support, why that message wasn't received and instead was turned the other way. Well, gee, we couldn't do one in 2012, let's do two in 2014. That just seemed to me ludicrous, just counter to common sense, especially knowing at that time that there was going to be a New Approach Oregon. It was going to have big funders. How much more good could have been done if all the money and labor and signature gathering from Paul's side of things had gone to that, had gone straight to New Approach, and we'd all be behind one initiative and working to get that on the ballot. I think we'd have many more signatures by this point, don't you?
Yes, and I think certainly in California, that's something that you and I and hopefully there is Wyatt and Barrett and the group does bring change to petitioners, because I'm intimately involved with Hiram's company, and they've called me to go down to work for Hiram, who's still actually got a contract to get a certain amount of signatures for 22 from Paul that he has to fulfill in the next couple of days. And then there still is New Approach that they could take their cards down and work, because the processing, they can't get it done anymore, so that their cards can be used, and you can send them down to the New Approach people, and that's really where they need to be centered right now, as we all just get on board New Approach, because of what you've said on the air, and you've educated me from just my little bit of listening to you again, Russ, and that's why I love your show so much, about the information and the hard work that you put into it.
Thank you.
So.
Now, give me Wyatt and Barrett, if you guys want to respond to anything, go right ahead.
Yeah, I want to say, first of all, it's really good to talk to you, Ray, and really glad that you're feeling better and got some piss and vinegar in you again.
Yeah, thanks for speaking out.
And I guess just speaking from my own personal perspective, not here as being affiliated with the union, I know a big part of the frustration that a lot of the people in the shop felt has always been to do with not a clear sense of who to address a lot of these concerns to, about, the low number of signatures. We just came out, we put in all our signatures a week ago, and we had 34,000, I think, on 22. So it's more or less impossible at this point, and a big,
absolutely correct.
Right. And so we've never really known who to talk to about the fact that 21 is kind of a long shot, and is already sort of superseded by 22, and B, we needed to start searching for new territory to collect signatures on. That's something that every single canvasser, regardless of whether they unionized or not, had been saying for months, for at least a month. We've known that Portland has had diminishing returns every single day we're going out there, and that's a big part of the reason why certain people were getting much lower signature totals. Is just there was a lack of a mechanism for communication to the people cutting the checks, and that made it really frustrating for people who would just get sent to the same exact turf every single day, see the same people every day, and get, a few less signatures every single day, and report this and essentially be told, well, you just got to ask the questions a little bit better, or phrase something a little bit different when you're asking someone for a signature. When we were all aware that this was just a lack of straightforward strategy.
It's the lack of management. It's
Right.
the lack of management, and I fully agree with what you're saying. And if I was there running the place, you know what kind of person I am, Wyatt.
Absolutely.
I would have been a people person. I would have been out there with everybody right there, and that's what Hiram Asmith is. And they've hired him at the end with money that came in, and they were, so things would have turned around at the end for 22. But that's water under the bridge. The point is, you're right. That's just the problem. Sometimes when you take in a youth movement in management, they're not experienced enough how to stand up to actually ownership and say, look, we have to deal with our petitioners in a certain kind of a Goombadi way. This is a love thing we're in with cannabis. This is our movement.
Right.
This is not changing the zoning on the water rights like what Hiram does with the fluoride even or so forth and all the emotions dealing in that issue. This is something akin to the Jack Hare vision of saving the globe environmentally, and unfortunately Jack Hare was one of the most ridiculous and non-practical people when it came to doing the nuts and bolts of getting an initiative done, and we're still seeing the legacy of that in California with Mikey Jolson, the grandson of Al Jolson, the famous Jewish blackface singer, and so who still lives on his grandfather's money and runs these initiatives and goes to the festivals.
Yeah, and I like what you said. I like what you said earlier too about it's no longer a theory; it's an axiom, because before we had ever legalized, you could say, well, maybe we can do it this way or that way. But now that 2 states have, and, in different ways, but, and with different campaigns, but now it's shown that, this is really, it's the big time now. It's professional. And politics is big money and professional management and professional strategy. And I think that's that's the growing pain we're going through in Oregon right now is coming to grips with that realization.
Well, it's just unfortunately that people like me that follow Jack Hare and that have a cannabis church kind of mentality, which Normal doesn't like, that, and the atheists are very against anybody trying, the atheists have squared out a certain area with the cannabis movement, and they don't want the Ray Christls or anybody with a spiritual tone to these things, even though I'm extremely sympathetic with Dr. Earlywine and you with this atheist situation, if you really want to know the truth. And about how I actually really feel on the thing, about how atheists really get discriminated and are really at the bottom of the minority in our country.
Oh, yeah.
Of the way they are treated.
That would be something we could go over. We do have about 2 minutes left in this segment. I want to wrap this story up. So let me give you guys the last word. Let me start with the guys here in the studio, and then Ray, I'll give you a word, and then we'll close it up. So Wyatt, Barrett?
I love the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act. It's my heart's fondest wish that people can grow industrial hemp without a license and grow as much medical marijuana as they could possibly need. I'm really sad the campaign hasn't been successful.
Yeah, and going forward out of this, I think it is important for us to show a lot of unity. We are all in favor of legalizing marijuana, however that plays out this year. So definitely all still supporters of the cause, even if we don't sit in the pews of the church. We're still, want to see that go through. Absolute pleasure talking to you, Ray. And
well, Wyatt, in closing, I would say please take your union people, walk down to the new approach office and get signatures for them until the last moment. They're assured of having enough validity, because it took us 160,000 to get on the ballot. almost 2-to-1 because of the high invalidity rate. People signing that more than once or that wanted to sign for cannabis, marijuana, but were not registered to vote.
Yeah.
And so, it's just a part and parcel of our situation.
Yeah.
And Russ, I want to thank you for us being back on speaking terms.
Yes.
And in a moment of our family love here in Portland, as we try to bring the movement together, that's what really, before I die, I would like to work with you on this. And with forgiving, Brian the Red, who you need back with you for technical reasons. I mean, it's so much on your shoulders, the show that you do. And congratulations on that wonderful award you won in Texas, with those incredible activists down there. And those two kids next to you there, and the young people in that office. It was a very good strategy Paul was doing. I'm sorry it failed this time, but please, let's try to not, put everybody down within the movement without giving them really fair shakes. And there is two sides to everything.
Yeah. And just
when Roger comes out, we want to come on your show in the second hour like this and talk. Roger Christie, when he's in the halfway house with me and you, about how we can start to work to heal our movement, as you know, is so fractious.
Yeah, right now. That would be a great show idea, and I do appreciate you calling in, Ray. And I always think the solution is always more talking. So I'm glad that everybody is getting into this and getting into the spirit of wanting to put this all together. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll wind up the show with our final segment. Stick around.
America's RR7 secret agent of progressive change.
The name's Belville. Russ Belville.
This is the Russ Belville Show.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch, a spider's touch, such a cold finger beckons you to enter his web of sin. But don't go in. Golden words he will pour in your ear.
420 Radio, freeing your mind 24 hours a day.
The pistachio. Green, natural, and available without prescription in all 50 states. He's fine.
NORMAL stands for Responsible Adult Cannabis Use. If cannabis use is causing problems in your life, consider taking a break or seeking medical assistance. Consider ceasing cannabis use if you have a family history of mental illness. Don't drive or operate heavy machinery while impaired by cannabis use. Cannabis use is not without risks, even though the risks may be far less than those posed by legal drugs.
We smoke once for breakfast. Once for breakfast. The planet non-stop. Once for breakfast. The planet
took a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now the music's all over the map. Why? Because we are the movement. We took a little bit of soul with rock and roll. Now the music's all over the globe. Because we are the movement.
Welcome back, everybody. It's 45 after the hour. That's Thoughts Arising and Ominous Words with Hotbox the Planet. That's some of our Groovin' Thursday music. We catch it every Thursday at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. in random replay blocks here on 420 Radio for our Groovin' Thursday Daily Toker tunes. You can also catch Big Daddy Fink's Funky Roller Rink. That's right, the Funky Roller Rink season finale. Brand new show tonight at 8 p.m. Episode 18, Funk Incognito. Now, it's a theme show this time. The Funk Incognito means funk songs done by other groups that aren't funk groups, or songs that aren't funk songs done by funk groups. It's pretty particular. So I'm looking forward to this one. Catch it at 8 p.m. tonight on Big Daddy Fink's Funky Roller Rink. Catch the replay of last week's episode, the Another 80s Love Story Weird Science episode, coming up next at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, right here on 420 Radio. All right, in the interest of education, we are always bringing you the latest videos from our partners at High Times Magazine. Tune in now for another episode of High Times TV and learn about sativa versus indica. I want to cruise through every day.
Man, I got good stuff today. I got real good stuff. Cali Mist. It's a sativa, misty feeling. You know what I'm talking about. And then I also got this right here. I got this cashmere cream. It's an indica. It's gonna keep you in your seat all day, like a good Led Zeppelin album, like cashmere. So, what's it gonna be? Take the sativa, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man. Let your creative juices go. Go with the sativa.
Cool.
You don't want to be no couch potato.
I'll take a potato if you go into the kitchen,
What
man.
the holy...
Hey, listen, you want to go with the indica strain, man. Just chill.
Hey! You want to get high, not stoned. Come on now. Go with the sativa.
No, you need to just chill.
You supposed to be... Are you supposed to be the devil? Aren't you supposed to be the devil?
Oh, shit. What?
And aren't you supposed to be like tiny and on my shoulder? Just...
We ain't got the budget for that. Who you think we are, James Cameron? Come on, baby.
I'm sorry, I was just thinking about baby ducks.
You really want to be like that for 2 hours?
Let him choose for himself, bro.
See, this is why I can't. That's why I can't deal with you. Sometimes I wish I could just grab you and just snap your goddamn neck. Hey, man.
Holy...
Dude,
what the...
I got other people to see, man.
A little of both, I guess, please.
All right, I can do that. That's cool.
Hey, do you have any mushrooms, by any chance?
Hell yeah, I got mushrooms. I got acid too, man.
Yeah, big thanks to the guys out at High Times for that latest episode, Sativa versus Indica on High Times TV. And speaking of High Times, oh my God, we are just 9 days away from the High Times Cannabis Cup Bay Area, where Bay Area is defined as an area that extends to Santa Rosa now. It's the Bay Area. So, take it for what it's worth. It's cool. But we will be there, and especially excited that Herb Thrasher is going to be there. That's right. Herb Thrasher will be joining me at the 420 Radio booth. We are coming to the High Times Cannabis Cup. Left Wing Larry will be there as well. If you are going to be at the Cup in the Santa Rosa area, please stop by the booth. We'll give you a sticker, and you have a chance to buy a pin. We've got new Russ Belville Show pins in stock now, so check that out. And also our presidential pot quotes poster, the Legalize Marijuana in the United States poster, also for sale. So stop by, and remember, everything you buy, that money goes directly to help the funding of 420 Radio. We are listener supported cannabis community public radio, and today exemplified it. I want to really thank my guests here, Wyatt and Barrett, for hanging out as long as you guys have here in the studio. Studio audience loves you guys. You're like, oh man, I'm stoned. I didn't see any studio audience. Yeah, man. So Oregon, it's beautiful lately. We just had our, it's apparently, I believe it's today and tomorrow, because tomorrow's the first day of summer, right? 20th? Today and tomorrow are the longest periods of daylight in Portland, and for that matter, anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere.
Damn.
But we're going to have like 15 hours of sunlight today, something like that. So,
Yep.
Yay. So what are you guys going to do now? Do you want to gather signatures for the remainder of New Approach Oregon?
Well, obviously that's something we can't really speak to as union representatives. We kind of have to talk about that first. But for the remainder of today, probably go enjoy the shit out of all the remaining hours.
Yeah, I'm going to take a long-ass bike ride.
Yeah. Time for a long-ass bike ride. I totally understand it. And Portland's the place to do it, folks. This is bike heaven. I just recently became a full-fledged Portland bicyclist. I rode my bike in a downpour.
Oh.
So now I'm there, dude.
There you go.
Full-fledged Portland bicyclist. I got my yellow coat. I got my blinky lights. I'm good to go.
Yeah, waterproof bags.
Not yet. I haven't got the waterproof bags yet, man. I have to get. That's the advanced level. I'm still undergrad. I gotta wait to get to that level, But having a good time doing it. One of the nice things about this city is that it is bike lane friendly. It is bike path friendly. Just yesterday, I did the I-205 path, like all the way down to Johnson Creek. Right? Yep. It's just amazing. You can get everywhere on this town on a bike, on a bus, on a train. I don't own a car. I haven't owned a car for 3 years.
Nice.
I love it. Now, y'all from Georgia or all from Virginia and Florida, where you can't do that.
No,
You've got to have a car.
That's one of the reasons I moved here. I wanted to experiment with the low-car lifestyle.
A low-car lifestyle. Not low-carb. Low-car. That's cool. That's cool. All right. So is this a permanent move for you guys now? I mean, you came for the campaign and all, but you going to stay?
Well, we'll have to see where the cards fall, I guess.
Yeah.
I love Portland so far. I've only been here like 6 months, but it's been incredible,
Yeah, we've received so much support from the Portland community with our union actions, and I really want to make friends here and settle down here, just knowing the kind of community support we have.
Yeah, and give you guys another year, you'll have a full-fledged Portland hipster beard, man. Down to here, man. Yeah. It's something. It's always funny to me wandering around. Portland. We've got all these guys with these big, thick, full lumberjack-style beards, right? And then if you just threw a turban on them, everybody'd freak out, right? But no, as long as you got the flannel, everything's cool, right? That subtle difference in dress, man, can really affect the whole thing.
No one tell the TSA.
Yeah, Portland is a great place to be. I encourage everyone to check it out and then leave. No, you're welcome to stay. But it rains here all the time. All the time. Shh, just let them think that. No, but the difference in Portland rain is like, because I've been to places like Birmingham, Alabama, which actually has more rain annually than Portland, Oregon does. But the difference is in Birmingham, Alabama, when it rains, it goes whoosh. It just freaking rains all at once, and then it's done, right? Portland, you've got like that first lever on the delay wiper rain for like 8 months. That one little wipe, man. That's it. That little misty, half expecting Sasquatch come out from behind a fern kind of rain. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Essentially just a mist that never leaves. It's kind of like us. We showed up and we're just going to stick around.
The mist that never leaves. I like that. That's a good one. Hey, a couple quick stories before we run out of time that didn't get to the 420 radio news. Medical marijuana advocates are pleading with lawmakers in Frankfort, Kentucky. And I love this opening paragraph on this. This is for Kentuckians for Medical Marijuana. Eric Crawford held up a plastic bag filled with dozens of prescription medications that he uses to treat lingering pain from a car accident, along with a myriad of other health conditions. Quote, "My life is a constant struggle of nerve pain, ungodly muscle spasms, extreme stiffness, arthritis, chronic urinary tract infections," said Crawford, a quadriplegic. "If I could legally use medical cannabis, I would not need any narcotics." End quote. And this was a point I would really like to see, especially in Florida, for God's sake, that they would make more often is, we have a problem with prescription overdoses, do we? We have a problem with diversion of pills, do we? Guess what causes people to have to take fewer pills? Medical cannabis. Berkeley Patients Group did a survey on this where they found 2/3 of the patients said that their use of cannabis allowed them to reduce their use of opiates by half to a third. Fewer pills. Fewer pills. And also because of the cascading effect of pharmaceutical pills, right? They gave you the one pill, but then they got to give you another pill to deal with the side effects of the first pill. And then a third pill to deal with the side effects of the second pill, right? It's kind of this little cascading effect. Once you remove that first pill, you don't need the other 2 or 3 for the side effects. Your only side effect from your medical cannabis is a little bit of dry mouth, some bloodshot eyes, and a greater appreciation of jazz. It's not a big deal. Another story, Georgia to study legalizing marijuana, medical marijuana. This is part of the Georgia Assembly. State Representative Alan Peake is leading a committee that will make recommendations on the limited use of medical marijuana in Georgia. Now, Peake was the guy who went forth with the CBD only in Georgia, and then that got scuttled because of some political hostage taking. It was really sick. This one legislator blocked the bill because the other guy hadn't supported her bill on something that had to do with autism. I can't even remember what it was. Anyway, it's just BS. But anyway, this Peake, he's one of these guys that's like, it's CBD. It doesn't get you high. We're not talking about what gets you high. It's not going to get you high. It's not about getting high, right? He's going to lead the study on legalizing medical marijuana. So that's
great.
Let's see how well that turns out, right? And do we need more studies? Really? We've had medical marijuana since 96 in California. It was in the U.S. Pharmacopoeia for 91 years, from 1850 to 1941. It was used as early as 5000 BC for medical purposes. Do we need more studies? There is no more studied plant on the planet than cannabis.
Let's give it a decade.
Another 10 years, maybe?
Let's see how things work out in Washington, Colorado.
We need more time, man. We just don't know. That was Hillary Clinton's line the other day, too. Well, she's making the cruise ship-like pivot that all these politicians, oh, shit, 80%, 90% of the people like medical marijuana? Hold on, wait a minute. What did I say? Her pivot now is like, well, we really need to see some studies. We need more study on medical marijuana.
And the public perception.
Yeah, right. Now, what you need is to make sure that enough of the corporate people come around on it that you don't lose all your campaign donations. That's what these politicians really care about. Yeah, sure, the public is 80-90% in favor of it, but the corporate people aren't. The ones that can cost me money aren't for it. Exhibit 1, background checks on guns, which 90% of the people support, and even 70% of NRA supporters support, but goes nowhere because the corporate people that run gun companies don't like it.
And they all sit on the NRA board.
Exactly. Well done. Oh, we can even talk about the intermingling of nonprofit and corporate boards. Oh, that's some fascinating stuff. You got to see the diagram on that. It's just fascinating.
Hold on, I think we only have 2 minutes here.
Oh, I guess we're not going to be able to do that then. Time is up. That's all the time we got here for Toker Talk Radio. Again, big thanks to Barrett and Wyatt for joining us here in studio, and to Ray for calling in to offer some perspective on the other side. If there is, no, I don't necessarily put them on the other side, but just some perspective. That was very nice. And that's all we got for today. Coming up next, Big Daddy Thinks Funky Roller Rink, another 80s love story, followed by replays of these past 2 hours. So if you missed any of our discussion, you can catch it at 6 p.m. Pacific time. These guys come in for the interview at 6:30. So if you want to start there, 6:30 p.m., conversation runs from there. For Barrett Wyatt and for Priscilla Seiben, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, take care of each other, Tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it,